Right, so let's do a quick introduction to two-way tables. All they are is literally another way of representing information. You can have two-way tables. Other ways you can do this is with Venn diagrams. You can do this with probability trees as well. But this is a very, very simple way. It's quite popular on the Foundation GCSE syllabus. So all they are is just you've got two different ways of representing the information. So let's say that on top we've got, let's say, favorite color, and here we've got, I know it's a very generic way of doing this, but let's say we've got male and female. Let's say we've got blue, red, green, yellow, etc, etc, etc. Okay, I know there's going to be more than that, but let's just have that for now, just for the sake of simplicity. It's just a way of representing information. You can have either percentages in here, or you could have the most of them are actually just the absolute number of people. So it could be, I don't know, 10 people, 10 males prefer blue, for example. Okay. So these will be filled with information, and these at the end will always be totals. Okay, so you'll have total at the end of this, in this column at the end, and you'll have it in this row at the bottom. Okay, always going to be the case, and this is always going to be a grand total at the bottom. So this will be total number of people that prefer blue, both male and female, total red, total green, total yellow, etc. And this is the total number of males asked, total number of females asked. And this is the grand total of people all together. That's the very, very basics of two-way tables. Let's do a quick example. So, to put it into context for you guys, I thought let's do a quick school example. So let's say there's 700 people in the school. We can add that to our table already. So the question here is just fill in the table. So 700 in school, think about where that might go. Okay, that is total, grand total number of people in the school. It's going to go here. So 700 in the school. What other bits of information do we have? Half male, half female. We can get that sorted straight away. So this is the total male, this is the total female. Half of 700 would of course be 350. 350. There we go. Next up, we've got Macmillan as 240, Ormond as 235. We can put that in straight away as well. 240, 235. What about the rest of this though? Okay, so of course this is the grand total. We know the total number of Macmillan, we know the total number of Ormond, so the remainder would be the total number of Tuckwell. So let's just get that 700, take those two away, we'll get 225 in Tuckwell. Okay, so 700, take away 235, take away 240, would be that 235. Right, what other bits of information do we have? Macmillan is exactly 50-50 male to female. So that means half of Macmillan, half of the 240, will be 120, and 120 for male as well. Okay. We don't have any information for Ormond though, but we can use this information from Tuckwell in order to fill that out. Okay, so 125 Tuckwell males, 125 Tuckwell males. We can use that. So what can we fill in next? We could fill in this one, or we could fill in that one next. I think this one's nice and easy to work out first of all. So 225 Tuckwell males, take away, 225 Tuckwell students I should say, take away the 125 Tuckwell males, you're going to get 100 girls. What else? So 120 Macmillan girls, 100 Tuckwell girls, and there's 350 in total. So let's take away both of these away from that 350 to see how many Ormond girls we've got. So 350 take away 100, it's 250. 250 take away the 120 will be 130 Ormond girls. Same kind of thing again. We could use either these two bits of information, take that away from the 350, or we could get the 235 and take away the 130. I think the 235 take away the 130 would be a bit easier. So 235 take away 130 is 105. Okay, there we've got our filled in table. Now, where does probability come into this? This is where it comes in, okay? So let's say that we've got a few questions here. So probability of a Macmillan male. So this will be out of what? Would it be out of 240? Would it be out of 350? Or would it be out of 700? Well, probability of a Macmillan male. This is just picking a Macmillan male out of the entire school, it's saying. So, Macmillan male would be 120 out of 700 students. Okay. Now, the vast majority of the time, they would ask you to simplify this. So let's simplify that. Let's knock off those zeros first. Divide it by 10. We're going to get 12 out of 70. What can we do now? We could half it, couldn't we? We'd get 6 out of 35. Does that simplify any further? I don't think it does, to be honest. So, that's our answer. That's our simplified answer. Some of the time, though, that'll be acceptable because it wouldn't say it in the question, okay? No big deal. Probability of Tuckwell. So, that'll be just 225 out of 700. Can that simplify? Why, yes, it can. That isn't a 5, that isn't a 0, so that means you can divide them both by 5. So, 225 divided by 5 would give you 45. 700 divided by 5. Divided by 5, where's the divide? Now, you're probably thinking, why can't you do this in your head, sir? I'm lazy, my apologies. Would be 140. Now, 5 and a 0 again, we can divide them by 5 again. So 45 divided by 5, I can do that in my head. That is going to be 9. 140 divided by 5 is going to be 28. So 9 out of 28, that can't simplify anymore. That's going to be our answer. Probability of female from Ormond only. Okay, so we're only looking at the Ormond students. Okay, so female, which one was that? So that is the 130 out of the 235. So 130 females out of the Ormond students only. So 130 out of 235, because we are only looking at the Ormond ones. It's not saying out of the whole thing. So 130 out of 235. That is going to be, so let's divide it by 5 again. So that's 26 out of, so 235 divided by 5. It's going to be 47. 26 out of 47. Awkward fraction, that. But that's your simplified answer. Okay. Sometimes you might be given a bit more of a complex two-way table to fill out. Here's one for you. So a school is putting on a trip to Germany, open to history and German students only. 160 in a year group, 20% take just German, 30% take just history, 8 take both. All of these are going on the trip. Fill in the table. So I would highly recommend pausing the video right here, copying that down, or copying the table down, and then try and fill it out yourself. Okay, so pause now if you want to give that a go. Right, so let's have a look at how to tackle this. So first of all, 160 in a year group. That is your grand total. So let's put in our totals here. So 160 total. 20% take just German. Okay, so let's find 20%. 20% of the 160. Okay, so 10% is 16. So double that to get our 20%. We would get 32 that take, what was that? Just German. So 32 just German. Is that in there? Is that in there? Nope, it's there. Okay, so 32 take just German. 30% take just history. So let's add those two together. 10% plus 20% would give you 30%. Add them together, you'll get 48 students. Okay, apologies for that. That was my cat. Now, 8 take both. all of these are going on the trip. So 8 take both, that is the total that take both, and the total going on the trip. Now, all of these are going on the trip, so 0 in the no trip column. Right, now let's see what else. So, 75% of just history and just German are going on the trip. So what does 75% mean? That 75% means 3/4, doesn't it? So, what we could do, what's 1/4 of 32? So 1/4 of 32 is, well, 32 divided by 4 would be 8. So 3/4 of 32 would be 3 lots of that. 3 times 8, 24. So 24 of these are going on the trip. So 8 of them aren't going on the trip. Let's do the same for the history lot. So, 1/4 of 48 would be 12. So 3/4 of 48 would be 3 lots of that, 36. 36 on the trip, and there'll be 12 not going on the trip. Okay, now, let's see how many people didn't take either history or German. That'll be quite useful for the next part. So 32 add 48 would give you 80. Add 8 would be 88. Okay, so 160 take away the 88 would give you 72. Okay, now of course these don't take either history or German. So that means that all of these people won't be going on the trip. So 0 on the trip there. Right, so 24 add 36 would give you 60. Add the 8 would get 68 there. Okay, apologies for my handwriting. And let's see how many will be going on the trip. What will be the left behinds that aren't going on the trip at all. So 160 take away 68 would give you 92. That's it all filled in. That's it all done. Mark your work. Thank you very much. Hope it was useful.